Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Crinkles Corner. Thank you guys so much for coming back to today's episode. I hope you're all doing well. One of my favorite opening scenes of a movie is that one of Jeepers Creepers. The first one, the original, is my favorite scene because it automatically hooks you. Like, you're from the start, you're already yelling at the TV, go, go, go. And it's just like you're instantly hooked and you're like wanting to keep watching to see what happens. That is like one of my favorite opening scenes of a film. So if you haven't watched it, I would definitely go check out Jeepers Creepers, the first one, the original. It's the best one. I'll insert a clip for you guys so you can see a little bit of it. I don't want to give too much away in case you guys do want to watch it, but I'll insert a little bit of it just for the sake of today's case.
Turns out you're a twin and... Jesus! What the hell's his problem?
Just get out of his way, Jerry! Let him pass you, Jerry! What the hell are you doing?
You're on me!
Get off the road and let him pass you!
Nuts!
I know he's nuts! Pull over!
Around me!
Slow down and let him fucking pass you!
I'm trying!
That scene also, it's what taught me to mind my business. Especially driving, especially because I have gone on like long road trips where I am in the middle of nowhere. You just keep driving. Don't even look, don't stare, nothing. You just mind your business. That opening scene is based on a true event. So let's get into it. In 1990, 46-year-old Dennis DePue murdered his wife Marilyn and would stash her body. But this story is so cuckoo. Although the director of Jeepers Creepers has never confirmed it, it is pretty obvious that this story had to have inspired something. It was also featured on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries. And I remember watching this episode actually because me and my mom used to love watching Unsolved Mysteries. Back then I was little Crinkles, so I don't remember like the actual episode, but I found it. So I will be showing you clips of that as well to kind of align with today's case. In Easter of 1990, Ray and Marie Thornton are driving down South Prairie Road. Now, this is a real road in Bronson, Michigan. A Chevy van would come drive right behind them at a very fast speed, and then suddenly and aggressively would like turn and pass them really fast. That's when Marie Thornton, she would read the license plate on the back of the van, and it was GZ3877. And that's when Marie would say, geez, that guy's in a rush. And they would both just like laugh about it. They would continue their drive, and just a few miles ahead, they would come across an abandoned schoolhouse, which this abandoned schoolhouse is also shown in the film, the actual schoolhouse. And it's there that they see this van again, pulled into the schoolhouse, parked right next to it. And they look and see a man, and what looks to be like he's carrying like a white sheet with red stains on it, and he's carrying it somewhere. Minutes later, that same van would tailgate behind them once again. And for almost 2 miles, it just stayed right on their ass. Finally, Ray would turn off to the side on a side road off the highway. The van would also pull over just kind of on the side of the highway, not turn off, but pull over onto the side. Then Ray decides, let me turn back around. Let me get his license plate and write it down so I can report him. Which is smart, but that is the part you mind your business and keep driving. At least I would. Ray wanted to report the driver of the van to the police because not only were they tailgating them and scaring them, they were also behaving suspiciously. The van is still pulled over on the side of the road when Ray and Marie turned around and came back around. The van had the driver's side door open, and Marie was able to get a look and saw that the entire side of the door had like a big blood stain, like there was blood on the side of the door. Now Marie and Ray began investigating, and they would go back to the schoolhouse where they saw the guy with the white bloody sheet. That white bloody sheet would be the blood of Marilyn DePue. Now let's talk about Dennis and Marilyn DePue. They lived a pretty comfortable life. Dennis was a property assessor and Marilyn was a high school counselor. Together they had 3 kids, but beneath the surface, things were different. Dennis was an angry person and he was withdrawn. He would accuse Marilyn of turning the kids against him, and Marilyn would tell loved ones that she wasn't happy. When she would go see a divorce lawyer, the lawyer would ask, "Why do you want a divorce?" Marilyn would respond with, "My marriage is broken." And after 18 years of marriage, Marilyn finally gave up, and Dennis would be granted limited visitation of the kids. And often the kids didn't want to spend time with Dennis, their father. Marilyn would change the locks on her doors at home, and even doing that, she would still come home from work and Dennis would be there sitting on the couch. So he was breaking into her home, and she started to get scared, rightfully so. Dennis would go on to confide in a friend, and he would tell his friend that he was contemplating suicide and murder. On Easter Sunday, 1990, Dennis would come by to pick up the kids for visitation. His youngest daughter, Julie, said that she didn't want to go with him. Dennis would then try to force her, and Dennis and Marilyn would end up arguing, fighting, and then it became physically violent. He would go on to push Marilyn down the stairs and would beat her. Jennifer, the oldest daughter, would run out to a neighbor's house to call an ambulance. Dennis would then quickly pick Marilyn up, drag her out of the house, and tell the other kids that he was taking her to the hospital. But Dennis and Marilyn would never arrive at the hospital. Investigators would now begin to look for the missing couple. That same afternoon is when Ray and Marie Thornton found that bloody blanket. That area where the blanket was found was quickly secured by investigators. And investigators, they also noticed tire marks and blood. The tire tracks would match that of Dennis's van, and the blood was a match for Marilyn's. The following day, a highway worker would discover Marilyn's body. It was off an isolated road between the schoolhouse and Marilyn's home, so she wasn't too far from her home. Marilyn had been shot once in the back of the head, and Marilyn's family and the kids knew that Dennis had something to do with it. It was brutal and premeditated. After the murder, Dennis would send a series of letters rambling to friends and relatives in which he would try to justify Marilyn's murder. He sent one to a coworker, Jan, and wrote, "Marilyn had many opportunities to treat me fairly during the divorce, and she chose to string it out, trick me, and lie to me." Dennis would send a total of 17 letters postmarked in Virginia, Iowa, and Oklahoma. Dennis was trying to say that those who were friends with Marilyn were the ones who caused her death. It's the friend's fault. So Dennis was definitely cuckoo. Now, here's the crazy part. When the Unsolved Mysteries episode aired, that night, a woman who wishes to remain anonymous, so we're gonna call her Mary because that's what the episode called her. Mary was pulling into her home from work. Her boyfriend Hank was already at her house waiting for her. His van was parked outside. He would tell his girlfriend Mary that his mother was very sick and that he needed to make an emergency trip home. Mary was confused, but she didn't ask many questions. Meanwhile, during this conversation, in the background, the Unsolved Mysteries episode is airing. It's on. And they were seeking the public's help in locating Dennis DePue, who is now Mary's boyfriend, Hank. Crazy. Imagine just watching TV and all of a sudden your boyfriend is wanted for murder. Mary says goodbye to Hank, aka Dennis DePue, and she said for some reason when he was driving off, she knew that she would never see him again. And later that same night, Mary would find out that her boyfriend Hank was really Dennis DePue. Mary's friend would give authorities the license plate number of Hank, aka Dennis' van. Only 4 hours later, Louisiana state troopers tried to pull Dennis over, but Dennis was not stopping. He would lead police on a 15-mile high-speed chase. Breaking through 2 police barricades, they would end up having to shoot his back tire, and still then, Dennis drove 2 miles on the metal rim. He would end up stopping, and Dennis would also fire 2 shots at deputies through his windshield and another through the side window. Then he would go on to turn the gun on himself. Coward. In one of the 17 letters, Dennis included this line: "An eye for an eye, a wife for a wife." And that is the story of Dennis and Marilyn DePue, which a little part of their case would inspire the beginning scene of the movie Jeepers Creepers. It's almost identical, and I didn't even know about this case until I was on YouTube searching for a movie to watch one night, and I was Googling, I was like, oh, let me watch Jeepers Creepers, and I was trying to see if I could watch it for free on YouTube, and then this case pops up, and I'm like, I have to research this. What do you guys think? That was crazy. Let me know if you knew that, and let me know if you've seen Jeepers Creepers, and if you haven't, you should definitely check it out. Especially the beginning scene, it's a good one. But if you guys have any cases that you would like to hear about, feel free to drop them down below in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell so you're always notified of a new Crinkles Corner episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Have a good night. Be safe. I'll see you next time. Bye.